Welcome back to our podcast. For those who are new, I'm Lola,
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Mia.
and today we're going to be talking about HL and SL subjects. So, first of all, like we covered in our first podcast, HL and SL subjects are just high level subjects or standard level subjects, and basically, HL subjects just have more content and are a bit more demanding. And I'm going to start by saying which HL subjects I chose, and this time I'm going to remember them. I chose art, English, and history.
I chose math, English, and chemistry.
I chose English, math, and business.
So our first question for us is, why did we choose our HL subjects? Was it because of our future jobs, for college, for their interest in the subject, or we just didn't have anything else to choose? I'll start off by talking about English. I just really love literature in general, and I want to make it my job. I want to either write or become a literature teacher or write scripts for movies. So I thought that that's the best way for me to improve in that skill. I chose art because I'm hoping to go to a university that focus on art. I want to go to a university for film, so I wanted to choose art so I could show them my creativity and how I would be able to implement in their school. And I chose history because although it might not really help for my future job or to get into the college that I want to get, I just in general really liked history, and I'm really bad at chemistry or any other science and math, so I didn't want that as my HL subject.
Okay, so I also chose English, and I think I mostly chose it because I just enjoy the subject in general, and I love to read a lot of books and literature and to discuss and also analyze them, which we mostly do in English language and literature class. And also I feel like the skills that I learn in English class, such as analyzing different structure, styles, and just so much more, are also skills that I can use in other subjects and are really helpful at the moment in general and also for the future, such as just critical thinking and stuff like that. And then HL didn't seem too much of a difference from SL, just that you have to read and cover a little bit more literature, which I didn't mind, so I was like, let's choose English.
Yeah, it's even interesting also. We do other stuff that we do in SL.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more content, but at the end it's all related, so it's not much harder in any way. Oh, and then I forgot. I also have math as HL, as I already said before, and that was more a decision for the future because most of the universities I kind of looked at, I'm interested at, require for me to take math as an HL class, such as medical schools, but also law schools, business schools, and many universities. So I chose that so that I could get into those universities. And because I enjoy math and I knew that HL was gonna challenge me compared to SL, where I knew I was gonna be bored and that I would probably do worse because I would be bored and not as motivated. So yeah, and then chemistry was also because I was thinking of maybe doing medicine in the future. It's still I'm still thinking of doing it, but it's not as much of my plan anymore. But so if I want to study medicine, I need chemistry as a subject, and also many other universities, even if I want to do something that's not related to medicine, require me to take a science class as an HL class. And then also chemistry HL at the moment it's not much different, it's just a little bit more content, but honestly it helps me really understand the SL class even better because I have a fuller overview over the whole thing. So yeah.
So yeah, I also chose English as an HL subject. I switched my HL subjects. I had creation and art before, I think. So yeah, so I chose English instead of creation because creation was too difficult for me at that time, and I understood English even more, and it helps me like also develop the communication skills. Like you said, you can express yourself better with like better vocabulary. You can write better, speak better, and presentate also better. And I also love to read books. I didn't read that much in my old school. Like I didn't read any English books, so this is like my first year, but it's really interesting like having like a new way to learn things through books, and like seeing the book is like more an example of what we're always learning. So yeah, for math, I chose it also for the future, like for the future university, because I want to study architecture. So it would help me like to solve problems. And I had SL before because I was scared of HL. I was like, this would be a too difficult subject for me. It was like a love-hate relationship. So, but then I changed it. I saw that SL was easy, not like too easy, but I understood everything, so I changed to HL. And business, maybe want to also study business later, but I don't know yet. So in business, it's like good. It's not that different than than SL, because you learn just things like to addition to HL about leadership, management, and project budgets, and like relationship, and like the, how do you call it, the general knowledge about like businesses. Yeah.
So, going on our second question, comparing HL and SL subjects, comparing our HL subjects with their SL counterparts, is the HL version better? What are the differences? How do we personally prefer it? So, me personally, for English specifically, as I said, I want to make literature my job. I want to write or anything like that. So reading extra books and further analyzing literature is just extremely helpful for me, and I've really enjoyed doing it in general. So I'm happier with the HL version because it challenges me more than the SL version would. For art, also kind of similar. I've really enjoyed art in general. I used to draw when I was younger a lot anyways. So in HL art, I'm just required to do with multiple materials and more materials than the SL students would. And also I have to make more artworks for my final exhibition. So it just challenges me again to do more, and I'm happy to do that. And then for history, we cover multiple historical events at the same time. So with Sophia, she's also a SL history student. We were covering now the Nicaraguan War and the Nicaraguan Revolution. But then for HL, we're covering the Spanish Revolution and the Spanish Civil War. So then we're covering multiple historical events at the same time, and it just helps me connect how each of them happened and if there's any connection between them. And it does take more time and more reading than SL would, but I enjoy it anyways, so I'm fine with that.
So for English HL, I would say the exact same thing as Lola. It's just a little bit more books to read, or just text in general. But at the end, you're just further developing your skills. So it's not really much to it, in my opinion, except you might have a little bit more work. But since you connected a lot also to the SL content in class, it's not that much at the end. And I just really enjoy it too. So I don't think there's a big difference between SL and HL. And then for math, it's definitely much more challenging than SL, the HL course. Also, since it just covers so much more content, which is not covered in SL at all. So that's a huge difference between those classes. And also in the paper 3, for math HL that the SL students don't have. It's questions. It's going to be questions that we have never seen before. So we can't really prepare for it. Rather, it's more about, okay, how much did we actually learn and how can we apply that knowledge to questions with problems we've never ever seen before in our lives. So HL is much different than SL, but it's definitely manageable. And then chemistry, as I already said before, you just cover more content that adds to the content you learned in SL and connects to it, but otherwise it's not much of a difference.
Like, I would say the same for English as you guys. It's like more reading, like you develop more skills. We don't, like, we read like how many books in English now? 2 more than like...
I think in SL we covered 3 books, but multiple so short
Short
stories.
Yeah.
And then in HL we would always add one to it.
Yeah, it was not like that much stuff. I think math is the like, you see the difference like mostly in math, because in math we're like also in separate classes, like how many stuff we need like to add like to our learning that the SL class doesn't need to learn. So we are really separate.
Yeah, so like if we have SL math, usually in other classes we would all just be together, the HL and SL students doing the SL lessons. But then in math, SL and HL is completely divided through the whole 2 years.
Yeah, because there's much more like stuff we cover than the SL class.
And we also go at a faster pace.
Yeah, we're like way further than you guys. Yeah, and for business, I think that's like really not like a big difference. Like I said, you'll just learn like new stuff about like budgets and tools, and business is like more like for the, in general, like for the world, how to like communicate, and later business also if you like work or like have one. And it's really interesting because you learn like also new things that we don't cover in SL, but it's also related to the SL stuff. We just add to it.
Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't take math. So, what do we think of the differences between the HL and SL assessments? I think mostly they just add, for example, like Sophia mentioned, that in math, us SL students won't have the paper 3, but then you guys will. So there's just more to do since you already covered more since you covered more in your class.
Can I just add onto it quick? So just to clarify, if you take HL, you always have 3 papers to write. If you take SL, it's always only going to be 2. So for all of the HL subjects for us, it's going to be 3 papers.
And you have like the AI also, like the internal assessment.
Yeah, but that's for every section. That doesn't matter whether it's SL
but that's
or
like
HL.
for everybody. Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying, since in HL we cover more material anyways, it kind of makes sense that we have extra assessments. But again, it's also kind of stressful since now you're like, your grade depends on more things, and for me personally it's a bit stressful. I'm specifically stressed a bit for history, but I think I'll be fine after the rest of the years that we study.
I think math is more challenging.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing that. I don't know if you guys want to add something.
Yeah, like in business, the last like assessment we wrote, like she added our HL stuff. I think mostly the teachers do that, or you write like separate quizzes or tests for your like HL materials you cover, and like that's it. Like okay, math we're separate. In English we have like separate things we need to, projects we need to like do. And yeah, in business, like, she added the things to our test. I don't know how it is in chemistry.
Chemistry, it's sometimes either there's just more questions for the HL students, for me, than the SL students, or it's going to be a separate end of unit test or quiz, whatever.
Yeah. So for science subjects, since we're still on that topic, kind of, like chemistry or physics, what are the differences between HL and SL, and how is HL, sorry, more challenging?
I think Sophia can answer that the best because you're the only one who has a science as a HL.
Yeah.
Well, I think I already mentioned this before, but it's more content. You learn much more in depth about what you're learning in SL. So in SL, there's a lot of information you don't know actually that is about what you learned.
Yeah.
Like you will learn the broader,
Yeah.
like the broadest of it,
Mm-hmm.
and
You go
ignore like some
details
details that might like change what you're actually learning, but you're just ignoring them.
Oh.
Where in HL, you learn how like the thing that you actually learn in SL is actually not really correct, or not. It's not correct, but it's not as it is learned in SL. There's more to it. Yeah, and it's definitely more challenging than SL. You just gotta learn more content. But it's not, the content isn't more challenging, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, as an SL student, you could easily also understand chemistry, HL. You would just have to learn more, like in general.
Yeah, I heard like in physics is really hard. I have physics SL, sorry, not HL, but like the physics students are really struggling with the themes.
With HL.
Yeah, the HL.
Yeah, I don't know
sorry.
about how HL is different.
We don't know about like HL biology and physics, but we heard that like physics is really like not that understandable, easy. Yeah, but SL is okay for physics, I think.
Yeah, so I have SO chemistry, and now Sophia has actually given me more information that I didn't know. But honestly, since I said like before, I'm just not good at math. Not that I'm not good at math or like sciences, but I'm just really not interested in them, and they wouldn't really help me get into the universities that I want to go. So I'm still happy with my choice of choosing SL. And before I knew what Sophia said just now, I was just like intimidated whenever I would see them work on their HL things. I would just be like, I never saw that. That's just scary. So, yeah.
Quick fact. You know how we learned about the orbitals in chemistry class? There's actually orbitals in between the orbitals, and you can combine them. So it's just stuff like that they don't learn. Like they just learn about that SPDF orbital exists, but then you can actually combine the orbitals and create like suborbitals.
Yeah.
You leave SL class and they learn more like deeper.
Yeah. And lastly, what would we recommend to students about that are about to choose their HL and SL subjects? I mean, in general, just like we said, we all chose our HL subjects based on either universities or in personal interests. So just choose what you're comfortable with and what you think will be good for your future, because the HL grades have more of a, your grade depends more on them, and if you get if you get the top grade for them, then that's better for your final grade. So just make sure to choose like the ones that you're good at or that you're really interested in.
It's like we are all focused like mostly on our like future and universities, also what they accept and what they like. They focus more on these subjects you need for the study you're going to like apply for. So yeah, they like, I think they also consider the other ones your whole grade like at the end, but I think they look at exactly the subjects you need.
For HL, yeah, HL, you mean? Yeah, because they just know then, okay, you actually studied this really in depth, and you're ready to go to their university. You have enough knowledge and enough skills to be able to also study it then later in their program or whatever it's going to be. And yes, I already said, just think about which subjects you're going to be motivated about learning. Not all the time you're the best in your HL subjects or like really good at them, but if you're motivated to learn them and interested, then that's important.
Yeah, in fact, you can change your HL subjects also. I think, like, in our school, it's like they approve of it, or like you can do it, but then you have to catch up all this.
Like, worst case scenarios, you can still change them.
Yeah.
If you want to change them, the best thing is to change them in like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I did. I changed like 2 of my HL subjects.
Otherwise, if you only change them like a year in, you have to switch to another HL, and then you have to learn all the content over summer that you missed. So that's not really recommended.
Yeah, like worst case scenario, like we switched our HL subjects. Like I did. I don't know if anybody else did.
I didn't switch my HL subjects. I switched from biology SL to history SL within the first 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, me too. I switched like the first week. I saw that these are not my subjects. But if you like switch them like halfway through the year, I think that's okay also. But then you have to catch up, but it's not like recommended to do it because you have to do a lot of stuff. And yeah, like switch them. Look at like in the first 2 weeks, look at how you feel on those subjects, and then if you want to switch them, just switch.
Yeah. I think that was it for today.
Yeah. So I hope we enjoyed. Well, we did enjoy. I hope you enjoyed. I hope we gave you some more insight on SL and HL subjects, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.